vibes tribe, tap in. I am Keidy, your shamanic sister and a psychic medium. And
And
this
I
is me.
am Lee, the psychic sidekick.
Every psychic needs a sidekick, you know? Yes, we do.
So today we're talking about how we raise our vibration, how we get out of the emotional and physical and vibrational funk that we get into on a daily basis, it seems.
You can call it funk. I can call it another thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna behave. I promise.
No, don't. Please don't.
I'm like holding myself together not to say
Do not, do
a bad
not. Nah, I wouldn't worry about it at this point. We're not monetized. And I mean, all 10 people who watched us last week
word.
probably got
Give
6 minutes in before they switched channels, so I'm
And they're
not too
like, fuck
worried.
that shit.
Right?
We'll do it. We'll do
Um,
it. So yeah, how about vibrations? What we talked about last time as well, that we're gonna go through what is our opinions. Who cares? Who doesn't care?
what works, what basically works for us.
Works for us, yeah. And why do we get into this slope in the end? Why we get so low? That's
Yeah.
we can start with that. Like where does it start that you just feel like shit? Basically. You
Yeah.
just feel what do you think where it
I
starts?
I think part of it has to do with, I mean, me personally, because I'm an empath, I think I pick up, and I'm a body worker, so I pick up on people's energies when I'm working on them.
Yeah.
It can also be the place where you live. If the energy isn't clear, or if you're going out in public and you're picking up on people's junk. Um, it happened to me the other day, and it happens to me when I'm driving. That's probably the worst. To get into that that internal conversation when people are driving not well and you start to get angry about it or react to, and the things that you say you would probably never say in public, but you're alone in the car and you start cussing somebody out for, that's probably the worst for me. But
Yeah.
then I get this internal conversation that becomes very negative. And so
Yeah.
having to shake that off is super important for me. But that's how
So
it
it's
happens
like,
to
well,
me.
you're getting yourself into that low vibration when you start like you mother.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
I know. You should buy a bike. Works.
You mean a motorcycle?
Not just a bicycle.
Oh, yeah, well, it's hard.
No.
Well, where I live, because I live in Aspen, and,
I
it's
see.
just, if you need to go anywhere to do anything, if you're not walking, you really do need to drive. Everything's far away. So
Yeah. You just
I,
need to
I
do
it's
your
still,
breath work inside of the car. When you go in, you put a good music on, and you're just like,
well, and that's actually what works for me is putting music on, putting the right
yeah.
music on to change the frequency, change the vibration, and like start focusing on that good energy. But how does it happen to you?
Well, yes, you are correct in that. I think as well the environment for sure, but as well you don't choose the people that you interact in a daily basis. I don't drive, and that's one of the reasons I do not drive because I think I would be a serial killer in the road. I would be like, I do have a bicycle, but I walk a lot. So where I live in Tenerife. It's sunny all the time. We have summer all year long. So it's like, there's bus roads and there's like, you can go everywhere basically. You don't need to have a car. And I live next to the ocean. So I'm like, I'm cool. I wouldn't drive, I think, nowhere because I would not be good. But I do think as well, with my own experience, I see the diet. It makes such a big impact of the vibrations as well, because what do you need? What do you eat? This is our fuel. It's like, this is a Lamborghini and you don't put seed oil in it. I think the
I
diet and the way that, everything has a vibration, food has a vibration as well. So whatever you eat, that's what you're going to get as well. Same goes with, liquids and water and tea, or if you have a vodka, you have a different vibration, my friend. So yeah,
I
but
have
I
to
think
say I really love the way you say Lamborghini.
Lamborghini. How
Lam-
do you say
Lamborghini.
Lamborghini? Lamborghini. Do you?
Yeah, you make it sound like there's
No.
a genie driving in a Lamborghini.
Listen, I am bilingual with Spanish, and
No,
so leave me alone.
I'm not making fun of you. I love it. I think that's awesome.
You know what? Actually, in Spanish, it's Lamborghini. So pick on that one. Pick that pickle. Lamborghini.
So
Lamborghini.
when it comes to food,
Bellissimo.
what do you think is like a better food than like in terms of vibration? Like,
I think more when it goes to the plant-based food, the vibrations are higher. It is. I'm not a vegan. I used to be a vegan for 6 years straight. And yes, I was thriving incredibly well, but I was very, very careful that I had the studies that I'm not going to go to anemia or I'm not going to die because of the protein and everything like that. Although plant-based protein, where it comes from plants, but let's not go in there because I think I'm going to have a lot of hate comments. But as well, just to keep your food, at least try to keep your food ecological and from the farms and the big supermarkets. They have all this cool chemicals and all the crap that they put on and inside of the food. So I think food makes a lot of difference about the vibrations. I see myself as well. Like I have those cheat weeks and months and days and stuff like that. If I eat like crap, I feel like crap immediately. I don't vibrate anywhere. I
yeah.
vibrate between the toilets.
Oh God. I think our rating just went from rated G to rated PG 13.
I had so much today.
Yeah, I think maybe
So yeah,
staying away from processed foods too is probably not a
yeah,
bad idea.
yeah, absolutely. But everybody has it, and I do like my life now balanced as well because before I was very is it black or white? It can't be in the middle. So I wasn't balanced. I was very strict with my diet, with my training, with this, with that, but I burned out in the end. So I liked it. I like it balanced. And sometimes I do have processed food as well. But I know how I'm gonna vibrate then, but it's my own decision. So at least I'm aware of that. But no, I don't. But as well, I think mostly we are the ones who can to create this not bad vibrations but low vibrations as well. It's the way that we think, sorry, it's the way that we think, and of course that's going to go already to our emotions, our feelings, our everything. So it starts from here, how you talk to yourself and how you create that. No.
Yeah, I think that's what takes us down the rabbit hole when we start talking about that mental process and how you
Mm,
overcome, all those negative thoughts. There's, I think one of the first things that I come to on that is when I feel like sometimes I try to control everything,
yeah.
instead of getting to a place where everything has to be, supervised or controlled. I get to a place where I just have to let it go. I focus my attention on the things that I want to create, but I'm not trying to control the way that it arrives. You have to let that go. Because you don't know how the universe is going to unfold. You don't know,
Yeah.
what's when you get over controlling on the actions that you're taking, or what's every little detail about everything that's happening in your life. The universe doesn't have the opportunity to come in and change the things that need to be changed. So that's one big part of it for me. um the other part of it is not taking on other people's junk, not taking on their emotions, not taking on
Yeah.
the stuff people project on you. I feel like it's a lot, and being able to
Mhm.
recognize it and not let that affect you. um but then there's also that internal conversation, where you know you're replaying all the things that have happened to you in your past. And we all have it where we're like, ah, I can't believe I did that. And you go back to that vibration, and
Yeah.
repeating that over and over in your head and like beating yourself up on an emotional level. So I
But
had
that's
a
it.
what's
Yeah,
that?
no. Now that's already that motion of like overthinking and, dragging yourself back to the past. Why do we do that?
Yeah. So
That's the
I
moment when you need to let go. Yep.
one of my clients, her dog got attacked and eaten by an animal this last week. And
Ouch.
it took me back to the last dog that I had. He was old and I had gone on vacation and I left him with somebody that I thought I could trust. And the guy didn't end up feeding him. And when I got back, he was emaciated and he got sick and he ended up dying. And it was so
Oh, man.
devastating for me. But the guilt, oh my God, because I never should have, it was already, I was a little hesitant with leaving him with that one person. But I thought, no, everything's fine. We talked over everything. I left him some money, I left him food, and I gave him the whole list of things to do. And then he didn't do any of it. And so,
I call it
okay,
dickhead.
yeah, I mean, he should have gone to jail for that, basically. It was,
That's horrible.
yeah. But I mean, and so in my experience, it was like I feel so much guilt for that. So when this happened to this client of mine where she had taken her dog outside and an animal came and grabbed it and ran down the mountain. And she was like, she couldn't follow the creature through the brambles and everything. And so I, you know, I know her well enough to know that she's devastated. I mean, she was just a mess when I saw her. And she's going to go back and replay that 1,000 times and feel
Yeah.
horrible about it when there's nothing you can do at that point. You can't sit there and beat yourself up over it. Would you ever do that again? Absolutely not. But you can't stay in that energy is my point. Eventually you have to forgive yourself and you have to let it go, but it's a process and things like that,
Oh,
but
yeah.
not bringing it back up to make yourself feel bad about it is my point. um,
Hmm.
you don't want to forget it so that you learn from it, but you don't want to like continue to beat yourself up. And that goes with anything that happens in your life. How many times do you replay the shitty things that have happened to you or the things that people have done and you hold on to that resentment, and you can't.
To be, to be honest, not a lot anymore, but yeah, that used to be my mindset in general. I could stay, 'cause I'm a cancer baby, so I could stay there for years. I would be there like so it's like no
It's
wonder that
easy.
I got anxiety in the end and depression and insomnia and this and panic attacks. So because I was just living in the past all the time with my thoughts and the memories, but as well when you go to the past, you get the same feelings again. It's not like and it all comes back and you're living again and again the same situation through. So what we're doing to ourselves, yes. So I used to do that until yes I started all this spiritual practices and meditation and letting go and forgiveness and this and that. So of course the first person we have to forgive is ourselves. That's number one. But it takes so much practice and it takes so much how do you call it, resistant, no,
Discipline.
yes, self-discipline, and just to continue practicing that because of course I have moments that you know I'm cooking a tortilla or something like that, and just like one memory comes back, and then I'm like, "What a dickhead!" And I'm like, "No, Katie, no, breathe in, let go. It's in the past. Has to stay in the past." But it's normal. We're human beings. We are some of us. Um, we're human beings. We're having this human experience as well, and we need to go through those emotions. But the key there is to start not controlling them, but what do I want to say?
I feel like it's being aware. You have to be
Yeah,
aware that it's happening, and when you catch yourself in it, you then have to let it go. And
yeah.
that's
You need to
that's
shake
that's a
yourself off there.
yeah, that's the tough part. So when you
Yeah,
shake it off and then it sneaks back in when you're like not paying attention, all
us.
of a sudden you start feeling angry again or like
Yeah,
resentful or yeah, it's being able to
but then,
clear that.
but that's the thing. Every person should have that trick. Like I have that trick when I have some kind of moment or some kind of drama or with the friends or family or whoever or situation that, happened, like for example now or yesterday, and it sneaks in, I immediately stop it. I'm like, nope. And I'm going to think about things that, make me happy. Or, I am thinking about my dream house and I'm starting to decorate my dream house in my head. I don't
Mm,
even have a house. Okay, I have a house to live, but I don't have my dream house yet.
right.
But I'm starting to decorate room by room, even the plates. I'm going so detailed, like what kind of plates I want with the like what kind of table I want there, and it goes away. And I started like then you just forgot about it.
That's a
So
beautiful, that's a beautiful
that's
practice.
that's one
I,
of my like practices how to get rid of that emotions, because I am the best overthinker, I think the whole planet. And I could keep that emotion with me for such a long time that it's so unhealthy. So that's why I'm decorating my dream house
I
in my
remember
head.
he, I remember watching a documentary about children that were taken during World War II, and they were being marched for miles and miles and miles through the snow. And this one woman who survived the whole thing talked about that exact practice. Like she,
Mm-mm. Oh, really?
she was starving and, they were freezing cold and like other children were dying and all this stuff. And where her mind went was where the party or what the party was going to be like when this was all done. She was going to throw this
Yeah.
party and she went into the details of like what her dress was going to be like and what the food was going to be like and the games they were going to play. And she lost herself in that focus. And that's
Yeah.
what allowed her to survive. So, and it's,
100%.
this is, in a way, this is survival, because you can get so deep, dark, and down about your life, even though it might not seem like a big deal to somebody else. It is incredibly important and deep for you. So, yeah, having that practice is just, that's amazing. That's really cool that that's what you do. That's what you came up with.
To be honest, I didn't even plan it. It rolled out little by little. And suddenly when, I was talking to one of my clients and she told me like, what can I do to stop overthinking, because I'm going through the same scenario again and again and again. And I'm just like vibrating so low that I'm getting sick, because we will get physically sick if we're constantly in the lowest level of the vibrations. We're getting ourselves sick. So, and I told her, of course, I have other methods as well about the breath work. I do tapping. Sometimes I do tapping so hard when I need to just release. I do the singing bowls and the sound healing and Palo Santo and da, 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 da. But then I was like, she asked me like, but what do you do? And I'm like, I'm decorating my dream house that I don't have. And she was like, what? I am decorating I want to farm. This is my dream, farm and animals and this. And I'm starting to decorate it little by little. And she's like, okay, good for you. I'm like, thank you. It helps for me. And then I said as well, like, but you have something that, or even in the past, if you want to go back to the past in your happy moments or in your, we all have those parts in our brain still there. If you want to go back, or if you want to go to the future, or even in the present, of the moments that makes you happy and just content and with full of gratitude, go there, go to that space. And she was like, I want to talk to my grandmother. I'm like, go back to the conversation that you had with your grandmother. And she started to do that. And she started to actually speak to the grandmother who's not here anymore. And she was amazed how fast the grandmother's calming voice that physically is not there, she started to hear her voice again, because she started to practice that. So she totally forgot about her bad situation. She was like, that works. I'm
That's
going to decorate
amazing.
my house now. Yeah. So
So,
mind over body. And we can, do that, because as well, when we're when we're vibrating so low, and as well, you know, a lot of that when you told me as well about the environment and the toxic people, and if you're more empath, empath,
and
empathic,
if, yeah, you're more empathic.
yeah. So the more you take it in as well, it's it's
Yeah.
something you cannot stop. You can put your whole freaking arms full of crystals, and they're there to protect. which I'm doing anyways because I'm an empath too. But still, it can affect you, even if
Yeah.
you make your protections and cleansings and stuff like that. So you can still, yeah, get you
So,
down.
so one of the experiences I've had over the years, I studied Buddhism for a long time, and I found it really interesting the methods that they use in meditation that change their vibration. So it would start off like when you first start meditating, and a lot of people, I think, struggle with it because they sit and they go, "Oh, I can't meditate because I keep thinking about all these other things." But they would start off with a simple meditation where you envision a number in front of you. You envision the number one when you breathe in and you exhale, and you hold that number in your mind. And then you go to number two. You inhale and you exhale, holding the number two, and you go all the way up to 10. Well, in the process, if you start thinking about something else or something else comes into your mind, you start over at one. So you're essentially, it's like going to the gym. You're using the thought process and building the strength of that muscle to be able to focus until you get to 10. Anytime you start thinking about something else, you start over at one. But once you're able to hold your concentration for that entire, count to 10, then you start focusing your energy on what they call a virtuous object. I'm not trying to sell you Buddhism, by the way, but I'm just telling you, like, this is what they do in some practices where they'll focus their attention on something that lifts their spirit. So
Yeah.
what I used to do is like when I'd read a story that really opened my heart, that really made me, feel a feeling of love in my heart, I would then hold that energy for as long as I could during the meditation. And oh my God, what that does to your life and how it affects the energy around you is profound. So it's a
Mhm.
great practice. And if you don't have to meditate to do it, but it's just like what we're talking about. You're focusing your attention on something that really makes you feel good, like creating your dream house. Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true. It's a good story. Good, 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 good. Yeah, for me as well. When I did my Reiki practices, so I have, how do you call it? I have the levels until the masters, and I said as well, like I'm, about the meditation thing, but it's over 10 years now, so it's been a while. And in Reiki, when you're learning it, but as well you learn about the history of it and how to you know kind of get yourself in the center, because you need to be in the present when you're healing somebody, with yourself, with your mind, with your body, with everything. And it said as well, of course you need to do the cleansing and everything like that, but the one practice that helped me as well in the beginning when I started Reiki, because I was in the beginning of the spiritualism and everything like that, so I didn't kind of know. It was that when you sit down and you just put your, or hand, doesn't matter what hand, so one in a heart, one in the stomach, and you just repeat yourself, I am here, I am safe. I'm here, I'm safe. I'm here, I'm safe. Because you need to get yourself as well back in that moment. Why the vibrations shift as well? Because we're living in the past or we're living in the future. We're not living in this present. So you need to get yourself back here, and then you can change your vibrations only by visualizing. Visualizing. Did I
Yeah,
say it correct?
you did.
Cool. Visualizing. Visualizing um, a big ball of sparkly light, and you can add colors there, and you can create your own kind of system of like your how do you call it, like your aura.
Hmm.
If you start to change that with the colors and with this, the shininess and the light and everything like that, you're starting to feel better. And I was like, when I heard that in the class, and I'm like, okay. It's like, okay. But of course, I wanted to be a good student. So I did all those practices and I started to feel how it actually works. And I was like, holy mother of God, it works. Because I was vibrating low one day and I did the practice of like visualizing this aura and this light building up and light building up. And I felt great after like just 10 minutes sitting there. And I didn't do, I did some breath work and everything, but as well visualization, that you're hiring your own vibrations is so powerful. It's amazing.
What do you talk about breath work a little bit? What do you, when you talk about that, are you just talking about doing deep breaths, or are you talking about doing um like kundalini breathing, or what do you mean when you
Kundalini,
say
Kundalini, Kundalini.
yeah,
Do you like the song that I sent to you about the Kundalini now?
I don't remember. I'm old.
It's okay.
Oh wait, yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'll,
yeah, yeah,
I'll
yeah. I
send it to you
remember.
again
I
today.
no, no, no.
It's
You,
a
I
funny song.
remember. I remember. You sent me that, and I expected it to be like this long, hour-long
Spiritual
breathwork
song.
thing, and it was like 5 minutes, and I'm like, what?
No, the song is called Kundalini, and the guy actually it is very like spiritual, but the song is about this fake healers who are calling them starseed and making the brood to be a witch and stuff like that. It's that song.
No, I
I
don't
have
think
to
I
no,
got
I
that
have to
one.
send it
Yeah.
to you again. It is the funniest song ever. That that song rises my vibrations. I
Okay.
put it on sometimes and I'm like, that's good. It's so bad as well, but it's good. It's bad in a way because he's making fun of the people who are like spiritualism, and actually they're not. They just want likes and follow me and da da da. Anyways,
Yeah.
going from that song, I'm gonna listen to it now when we finish. Makes
But in answer to the question though, like when you're talking about breath work, what do you mean? Because that's not, I've done some breath work. I have a friend who she teaches it. And actually, she was telling me she was doing like this free demo at this place. And so I went just to support her, and I'm like, breath work. I mean, I know how
who
to
does
breathe. I mean, like, how fucking stupid is that? But I'm, somebody I cared about. So I'm like, all right, so fine. So I go in, and everybody lays on the floor. And then she's having you breathe all the way in and then just relaxing, and just all the way in and then relaxing. And it was a trip, because essentially I think we started to hyperventilate, because the tips of my
that?
fingers started to tingle and like claw up, and my legs did. And I started to get a little panicked, because I was like, am I gonna die? And she's like, no, 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 you're fine. you know
Fine.
but but I couldn't believe like the difference, and like how it affected me.
Mm,
And so I actually started to do some classes with her, like some one-on-one, things where you would do this, type of kind of repetitive, breathing for like an hour.
yeah.
And at the end of one of them, because you're laying there with your eyes closed, and she was like sitting at my head. At the end of one of them, I saw this mandala, this beautiful mandala just appeared in front of me. And I was kind of tripping on it, because I was coming back to regular breath. And she was sitting there, and she goes, "You're seeing a mandala, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, how did you know that?" And she's like, "Because I can see it too." And I'm like, "What are you, Gladria from The Hobbit?" I'm like, what so
Yeah.
she told me that she had this experience. This is why she got into breath work, or to teach it, is that she saw a mandala, and I don't know how she did it, but she said she was able to go to the other side of it. And
Mm,
I don't know how that works, but apparently what happened for her is it awoken her light body, which
mhm.
I don't know what that means. I don't, from a practical
I think
standpoint. What's that?
she's the one who can open like dimensional portals and is like a portal keeper, and they call it.
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean,
Yeah. Looks
I
like
could
it.
see the shift in her energy, like as a person. Like she sees all this crazy stuff now. It like opened her third eye. So
Mhm.
at any rate, when you're talking about breath work though, what is this what you're talking about? Are you talking about something different?
No, basically, it's the same for me as well. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not an expert in breath work, or I haven't done any courses or anything. I do practice it, but I practice it with a fellow YouTube who kind of guides you through what to do and everything like that. Yes, I have learned about it, but like on my own, I haven't done any like special courses. But as well, I do see when, talking from my experience, I have suffered from anxiety, panic attacks, depression, insomnia. And when I'm helping my clients through that, I'm like, you need to try breath work. That worked for me personally, and just it made miracles. So there's so many different types of breath works as well, just to like calm down your nervous system, that I still do practice. I have as well as everybody has, a stressful day, and I will put a breath work on that is like for stress or anxiety, or that kind of sort. And yes, these are the long deep breaths. And but the most important one there as well, that I did understand the whole connection there, because you need to breathe through your belly, not from your chest. And in the beginning, when I started to like practice that, and I was like, kind of doesn't work for me. And when I found out that we have to breathe through our belly, doesn't make sense, like babies do, because they
Huh.
breathe naturally. We don't anymore. We breathe because we're used to breathing like, here are our lungs. We have to breathe through our lungs. But when you do breath work, you need to breathe through the stomach area.
Hmm.
And that's one of the, to, how do you call it, when the breaths go out very fast, like you need to like push your stomach inside to let the air out.
Like
So
fire breath.
fire breath, yeah, for example.
Yeah.
And the other breath works that I have practiced as well, to of course they say it's not scientifically proved, but to activate the DMT, natural DMT in our brain. And this,
Dimethyltryptamine.
yeah. So this one, it's amazing. It as
I've
well, your body shifts.
so I have a friend here in Aspen who does energy work, and she's amazing. She's incredible. Her name's Catherine McIntosh. And she was telling me about her experience where she spent years in the jungle studying with shaman, through plant medicine. And she had come back to the US and met another shaman who was working in Hawaii. So apparently she went out to Hawaii and she was doing a type of breath work that required you to be blindfolded. So but you're also dancing. So there's movement, breath work, and you're blindfolded. And she said that it triggered the dimethyltryptamine in her system to where she was constantly experiencing it for like 3 months. She felt like
Mm-hmm.
she was on it. And so now I don't know how else to describe it, but like she's kind of wide open. But that's how it worked for her. That's what worked for her. That's what took her to a whole nother frequency in her whole
Mm-hmm.
life. Um, but yeah, she's amazing. She mentioned that she'd be interested in being on the show sometime. I'd love to have her on and
Cool.
have her talk
That'll be
about
cool.
it because
Yeah.
it's interesting. She has a little bit of an opinion, I feel like, when it comes to people doing like ayahuasca and things like that, as opposed to, you don't have to take a plant in order to have the same effect. You can do it through breath work, apparently,
Yeah.
but not many people know
Oh,
that.
yes, you can.
Yeah.
Do you know why? Because I did it. I,
Yeah.
I
That's
was like, crap. I forgot about that part. I was because I get visions during my sleep, and I get a lot of information when I sleep. So that's why I look so tired all the time. Anyways, my one of my ancestors, she's always there, she's always guiding, she's there when I do my sessions with my clients, and she told me that I can reactivate. I had, yes, talking about the plant medicine, I have done ayahuasca, blah blah blah. She told me that I can reactivate it without doing it, and I woke up and I'm like, okay, I want to know more. I want to know more. How can you do that? Because for me, it was absolutely amazing healing experience and everything like that. Probably not going to do it again, but through breath work, I did it the same. I was putting on the songs that they were using in the ceremony, and I did the breath work, and I got back to the same sensation when I was there. This pure love, and I got my tribe with me, and I saw them again, and it was just mind blowing. And the song was around 7 minutes, 7 8 minutes, so very little time. And when I got out, yes, I was crying. I was like, because it's just so emotional. But I got it into the same moment that I didn't feel my body was there here. I mean, my body just went. It just kind of shifted back. And I got so much new information as well. So I was like, breath work. This, why people talk about it so little? Because it actually
well,
heals.
yeah, yeah, right.
That's why.
But we're talking about it right now, so maybe it's something that needs to come Needs to be talked about more, obviously. 'Cause I didn't
Yeah.
realize that you could, you could have that experience just by
Yeah, you
doing
can
breath work.
reactivate that. Mm-hmm.
Although I had a weird experience when I was doing breath work. So I had taken some kind of one-on-one lessons with this girl, and then I
Mm-hmm.
started to do it at home alone, right? The thing is when you're doing it, because you're essentially hyperventilating and your arms and legs feel like they're asleep, like they have
Mm-hmm.
that tingly feeling where you can't move. When you stop and you go back to regular breathing, it takes a minute to get acclimated. You can't just stand up, because
Yeah,
it's
you're gonna
you're
fall
not in
down.
full control. So I was doing it one day, and I was laying in my bed when I was doing it, and all of a sudden, all of the sinks and toilets backed up in the house, like with ferocity. Like all of a sudden, everything started to back up, and I was like, it freaked me out. I'm like, what? So I had to stop what I was doing, get back in control of my body, and
Mm-hmm.
then I had to go clean up a really horrible mess. So I was like, I call
Nice.
her, I called her afterwards, and I'm like, what the just happened? I'm like, and I told her, what happened, and she goes, well, that energy had to go somewhere, and I'm like, seriously? Like,
Yeah.
do you really? I mean,
Yeah.
do you think that's what happened, or was it just the house I was living in? Just
And it
weird
happens in a
timing.
weird timing that where you're doing like very powerful breath work.
Well,
Come on,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
Come
I
on.
don't know. Do you really think that that's what happened?
100%.
Huh.
100%.
Yeah, I stopped doing it after that.
I don't want to clean anymore.
No, I'm like,
Maybe next time you just do it in like in a forest or something like that, so you can connect with something magical rather
so I can
than
just,
cleaning the toilets.
I can just run away.
Please let me know when you're gonna do it, so I know. Like you put your location in. You put your location in. But yeah, in the end, wrapping this kind of thing up about the vibrations. I think as well, diet is very important. Breathwork does make miracles with it. Sound healing, music, the vibrations, but as well, not all types of music. The music that lowers your vibrations as well very strongly. I'm not going to go into details, or do you want to? Because you're a music person.
It all depends on the person, you know. Everybody has their own thing that lifts their energy.
Yeah. You
So
haven't
what
heard about the theory that the one type of music that they created, the people who want to lower humanity's vibration, they made it for that their music is lowering like people's vibrations.
are you talking about the whole 440 frequency thing? I've
And
heard
was
this
it?
I've heard this theory that like,
Yeah.
they're trying to lead you to believe that this certain vibration that people play music in,
Mm,
messes with your frequency and like brings you down and all this, which is the biggest bunch of
100%.
bullshit I have ever heard.
Do you think it's bullshit?
I do. Look, if you're just gonna talk, if you're talking about just listening to one tone, that's one
Yeah,
thing. But when you're talking about like a song or like a piece of music that's played that starts in a particular note, no, that's yeah, no, because it's constantly changing frequencies. If you're, but if it's just one tone, yeah, is that going to affect you? Of course it is. I had one lady who I got this reading from this lady who um she gave me these different frequencies to listen to, and she's telling me it's going to raise my vibration, right? So I go listening to them, and it just sounded like nails on a chalkboard to me. It wasn't the
fuck.
frequency, it was what whoever the guy who created the recording that she sent to me created. Not just the frequency, he put all this other crap on there, and it was
He
horrible.
was a,
I could
he was a
I
psychopath.
I don't know, but I couldn't stand it. I tried listening to it, but it made me feel so down. I was like, yeah, no.
Yeah,
I can listen to a specific frequency, but I didn't need all the extra stuff. That's what was kind of bugging me. So I think it
yeah,
just I think it depends on the what you're talking about in terms of what you're listening to. But no, if it's just a tone, I think that can affect you. But if it's You know, it's
So
a
let's when
piece of music. It's not going to drag you down unless it's just sad or, you know.
it has happened to me,
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. The tones and the like the different like everybody has their own playlist. No, I have my Spotify,
sure.
blah blah blah. And when certain kind of songs come up, like if there's a happy song, I feel better. But
Yeah,
if it's
me
that
too.
kind of music and that kind of song, like it does shift your emotions and your vibrations
True.
as well, because as well, or you go back to the memory lane when you heard that song or something like that, but it still opens up that box inside of you, like how you're gonna feel. Music affects us
Yeah. The
all the way
power of
through,
music. Absolutely.
100%. And there's
Absolutely.
shit music as well. I'm sorry to say that, but there's shit music as well that keeps people down. And especially for those who cannot get out of their brains and their heads, and the overthinkers and the ones who are constantly living in their grief and depressions and everything like that. And do they put on a happy music? No, they listen to the and it keeps them there as well.
Yeah.
100%. I've been one
Yeah.
of them, so
I
I've done
agree.
that. Yeah. We're
So,
trying to be raw and honest here, so yeah.
so you want to talk about what we're thinking about next week?
Yes, my favorite paranormal activities.
So yeah, if anybody has anything that they want to talk about, any experiences that they've had, do you want to email us? We can talk about those and see what picks up on the experience, and she can tell you what
I'm
it is. Or
definitely bringing my dowsing rods, my pendulum, my tarot cards, and my team with me. Well, they're always with me, but so I take them out, why not? But yes, that's the whole point as well, for us to read out people's stories. We can say your name, but you can be totally, how do you call it, anonymously.
anonymous. Yep, anonymous.
Anonymously, we can read it out as well. But for sharing that experience and sharing that moments that you have lived through and you still remember it quite well. So sharing is caring. And as well, after after the story that we read out, let's connect, and I'm gonna say what the guides are saying about that. What was it? Was it real? Was it not?
Cool.
Yeah.
No, that's exciting. I love it.
Awesome.
All right.
Lee's gonna edit all the emails and things too. Right.
Yeah. All right.
So yeah,
Sounds
but
good.
it's not, just to say, like, it doesn't have to be a paranormal activity. It can be as well interactions with something that you have felt or heard or witnessed. And
Yeah.
just you has well to have that already, like, what was it? So I can tap in.
So actually, I have one. If you want to talk about it now, we can talk about it next week. What do you want to do?
Let's keep it for next week, so
Okay.
we get
Okay.
viewers.
I'm curious because I had something happen to me where I went to this place and I ended up seeing an apparition. And it wasn't
Mm,
like it was so vivid, and I wasn't the only one who saw it. But it was incredibly beautiful. But it was literally like my jaw dropped. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And
mhm.
I'm curious to know what you get on that. I don't think we've ever had that conversation. I think I've told you the story before, but you never
Yeah.
really tapped into it to tell me what you picked up on it. So yeah, I'm a little hesitant to tell all the details about it because it's something that's kind of sacred to me. But
Hmm.
let me figure out a way that I can tell the story without kind of divulging like the location and things because I don't want
Yeah.
some
No, this
Ghostbuster
has
to
to.
show up there with their freaking cameras.
Look what we have on here.
Yeah.
They're horrible.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, all right, cool.
Yeah,
So yeah, we'll leave email address down at the bottom, and you can send us any stories or questions you have, and we can talk about them online.
that will be well appreciated.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you have a lovely week, my dear.
You too, my darling, and our brothers and sisters, protect your peace and vibrations.
Yep.
Important.
All right.
Okay.
Take
Bye,
care.
everybody.
Bye.